Sheebah's a very busy woman, you know. We used to be close friends, but now, with the space and time, we're not as close as we used to be. But I'm proud of what she's doing, and I think she's worked hard and deserves her place in the industry. I have a lot of friends, mostly male and rappers, and we're yet to get in touch. I just got back. We're definitely gonna link up. I think that was she bit off more than she can chew there, cause Cindy's a beast. But outfit wise, Sheebah is gonna show up. She's gonna be styled up and whatnot. She's gonna perform. She's a great dancer. But Cindy brought her A game, I think. And I came actually like 3 days later. But if I was there, I would have performed with Cindy because we did Kwekunya Kunya remix together. I would have performed with her and Vampino. I feel bad that I missed it. Growing up was amazing. I enjoyed my time growing up. I went to Matters Way Nursery School in Ntinda, and then I went to Ntinda Primary School up to P3. My mom died, so I moved to Tororo, and then I went to Rockview School in Tororo. I finished P7. Then I went to St. Noah Girls Zana, where I finished S4. Then I went to Maryhill in Mbarara, one of my favorite schools, where I finished S6. And then after that, I went to Makerere, where I did a Bachelor of Commerce. I actually wasn't stubborn. I feared canes. There was a lot of Chiboko in Olevo. So I tried to stay as disciplined as possible. But I would always find myself on the noisemakers list for some reason, even when I wasn't talking that day. So, no, I wasn't stubborn. I played a lot of basketball, so I was always busy. We used to play inter high school basketball and tour a lot. So that kept me busy and out of trouble. The music started in nursery school actually. The first time I stepped on stage was in nursery school. My big sister taught me a song and I sang it in front of, it was like the end of, I think, what's that, top class. And my mom was in the audience and she was cheering for me. My sisters were there. It was an amazing experience. So the music started really early, but seriously, it started even in high school. I did a lot of performing, but professionally, and me going to studio, I started in university. I used to work for Vision Voice, and that's how I got to meet a lot of artists and producers, and I got introduced to different producers, and that's how I hit the studio and hit the ground running. Vision Voice, I was at university. I was looking for a radio job. I thought I had a great radio voice. My sister knew somebody at New Vision, so she mentioned me to them, and then they introduced me to the man who was working at the time at the Vision Voice. I forget his name, which is terrible, but he was doing the show, and he gave me my first opportunity on radio. As for studio, I was introduced to Sam Lamara by a friend of mine I went to Maryhill with, and she was a gospel singer, so she introduced me to Sam Lamara. The studio was out of a bedroom in Namuwongo, but it was fun recording because I got to explore and just be myself and learn a lot of things about my side and my strengths and weaknesses. I just experimented a lot in studio, which I'm forever grateful for. I think it was Maisha featuring Rocky Giant. It was my first collabo and my first song that I recorded. Maisha moved. I remember playing it for, like, like at Vision Voice, they'd be like, just bring your music, because we used to critique music a lot. Just bring your music, let's listen to it. And Seema, I remember Seema listening to it as well, and my earlier stuff. She knows all my earlier music because I played it for her and she listened to it. It didn't go as far as it should have, but it put a little step for me into the industry. I think my breakthrough must have been Aluo. When I recorded Aluo at Swangs Avenue with Benin, he produced the record. It was pivotal because when I recorded that song, I didn't know how far it would go. and we're just freestyling it in studio. He was like, "Let me play you something, see how you go about it," and we just flowed from there. And other artists would come to studio, and he played for them. He's like, "You guys, you need to listen to this new artist," and the word just started spreading, and then other producers also wanted to work with me, like Just Jose, who introduced me to the instrumental of how we do it, and the rest is history. Yeah. It was a pleasant surprise because I didn't expect it to happen. But I put my best foot forward when I was in studio. I made sure I wrote the best I could do, best I could write at the time. And becoming a household name was a dream come true, because that's what every artist would want. And it didn't take me such a long time. It took me a short period of time, which was very good at the same time. It was very welcome. I was very pleasantly surprised. I remember them all being welcoming of me. All those rap heads, the big heads, the Navios, the Enigmas, the Myth, and all these other people, GNL. I remember them listening to my music and just being like, "Wow, you're good. We want to work with you." They were very welcoming and very supportive, which made me feel good and made me know that I'm going the right direction. In my case, you could say there's foul play, but I don't know what happened because when I signed, they had so many promises that they had on paper that they were to fulfill, but did not fulfill. They tried to. I don't know if it was early days because I remember my white manager, telling me, "I'll get you a Ugandan manager," but he just said that, and it just years kept passing by without anything happening. So I don't know if it's a good thing that I signed to Sony, but at the time it seemed like the right decision because of the direction that I wanted to take. I needed someone to shoot videos for me, which they were willing to do. I needed management, which they were willing to do. I needed distribution, which they were willing to do. And just, I think the timeline of the release of the album was the problem because I recorded the album in 1 year and it took them 5 years to release it, which is crazy because the music is available. Put it out there. Let's move on. Because I signed for an option of 5 albums, but it took them 5 years to release one album. So if it takes 5 years to release one album, then when I finish my contract, it will be 25 years down the road. And that was very frustrating as an artist, as a writer, because every song is a release, and when you release music, you're always looking to flip the page and write some new material after releasing the old stuff. So it kind of kept me stuck in that space, which was unpleasant. Yeah, there's some good things that came out of it. I got to perform at the Big Brother Africa finale, which was a good experience. It was a big platform. They shot the music videos they said they were gonna shoot. Um, the distribution, they distributed some of the songs. But other than that, there was a lot more that was lacking. Absolutely. I would say sign to a record label if you have local management. Because you see, like with Vinca, I'm always giving this example. With Vinca, she signed to Sony as well. But she has Swang's Avenue. So she doesn't get to go missing locally like I did when I signed to Sony. Because I didn't have local management. So if you have a local manager who understands the market, you can just look at it as a collaborative effort with Sony or with Universal or Atlantic. You can look at it as a collaborative effort rather than you just signing for them because they don't understand the local market. Well, I decided to leave the country. I was really frustrated. The money wasn't making sense musically, locally. The Canadians gave me residency, so I said thank you very much. I'll take them up on it. So I went to Canada in 2017 after my album was released in 2016. I didn't see a reason to stay at the time. Maybe I should have stayed and promoted the album, but even the Sony guys were not supporting the promotion of the album. They just released it and that was it. So I was very frustrated. So I looked at Canada as an opportunity to open a new avenue for me creatively, which it did with the film. I went to Toronto Film School. I studied film production, which I graduated in 2019. Then COVID hit. because I wanted to come back after I graduated, but it wasn't possible. But like they say, time heals all, and we're here now. They were actually very exciting days. I was very excited to be there. Everything was very new. I was, what do they call it, culture shocked. Everything was interesting. Just being in a country where nobody knows you, I could sit on the sidewalk, eat ice cream, and nothing happens. I could walk on the street, nobody knows me. I could do whatever I wanted. So that freedom was kind of liberating, and I kind of enjoyed it, yeah. I performed here and there for Ugandan communities. For the UNA, they came over in Toronto. They invited me over to perform. I performed. I performed in Ottawa as well for Ugandan community there. I performed in Edmonton for Ugandan community. I didn't record music because studio was very expensive. Is very expensive over there. So I decided to just keep writing, but I didn't record. I was working part time when I was in school. I worked for Samsung. I shouldn't mention that because that's a plug. I worked for a telecom company when I was there. I kind of could pay my way around, but I still couldn't find accommodation because it was very expensive to find accommodation. But thank God they have like a shelter system and a women's shelter system, which I took advantage of. I spent the whole of my school between the shelter and school. They provide food and accommodation and everything. And it was like living in a hostel. But then it got to a time after I graduated, life got hard. I had to get a job. I slept on the street for like 2 days. Life was really hard. I wanted to come back home so badly. And at that time, it wasn't possible. That time of like COVID. I missed home so much during that period. And it made me appreciate home more. Not really. Not as everybody paints it out to be. It's not all roses. Well, that day it started out as a light-hearted day. I just wanted to go on Instagram Live, have a couple of drinks, and call it a day. But I ended up drinking too much, which was crazy. I'd never seen myself like that as well. I'm glad I saw myself like that, so I never have to be like that again. But I was just drinking a lot, and the stress of COVID and quarantine got to me, and I was just missing home a lot. So that happened, and I apologize to my fans who saw me that way, and everyone who believes in me, because it wasn't good for them to see me in that light. I was frustrated, but it wasn't to the level that I couldn't handle. I was frustrated because it was lockdown and nothing was happening. I couldn't go anywhere. Everyone was quarantined. I wanted to come back home and I couldn't. But at the end of the day, it played out and I'm here now. And, the rest is history. I am back to stay. This is my home country. It's where I made my bread and butter. It's where I made my name. And I owe it to the people of Uganda to come back and give them new music and new vibes, maybe movies as well. I'm just back generally to take my place in the industry. Yes, I've learned a lot, and you're going to see it in the music and in the way I move generally. I've grown as a human and as a woman. That there are things that I can't do now that I did then, and I have learned. And when you're gonna see different sides of me, I always like to give my fans an experience. So the Keko you saw before will be there. She's not all gone, but there's a new side of Keko that I would like to introduce you to. It's early days to start a record label. I would want to start a film production company before I start a record label, and maybe we could go from there and maybe have, because I feel like everyone can have a studio. It's not a big deal. Everyone has a studio. I want to have a film production company where I can put out content that DSTV can buy and all the local channels can buy into. So far, I've worked with Mitch Isabidie. We're yet to get that project on the road. I was at the National Theatre. They have a studio there. I did not know they had a studio, but they do. And I recorded a verse for him. I'm in talks with other rappers and other pop musicians, Ugandan pop musicians, to see how we can collaborate and make some beautiful music. Sheebah's a very busy woman, you know. We used to be close friends, but now, you know, with the space and time, we're not as close as we used to be. But I'm proud of what she's doing, and I think she's worked hard and deserves her place in the industry. I have a lot of friends, mostly male and rappers, and we're yet to get in touch. I just got back. We're definitely gonna link up. I think that was she bit off more than she can chew there, cause Cindy's a beast. But you know, outfit wise, Sheebah is gonna show up. She's gonna be styled up and whatnot. She's gonna perform. She's a great dancer. But Cindy brought her A game, I think. And I came actually like 3 days later. But if I was there, I would have performed with Cindy because we did Kwe Kunya Kunya remix together. I would have performed with her and Vampino. I feel bad that I missed it. Wow. What song do I love to perform? I like Mutima. I like performing Mutima. It gives me a good vibe when I'm on stage, just like I do. I love performing Alwo as well. Those are the two songs I like performing a lot. And with Shama Mushaga, if and when he's available, every time we perform that song, it's just magic. Shout out everybody that's watching, and thank you for always following Keko Town Music, and you know, just streaming my music, recommending it, sending me messages, beautiful messages on Instagram and Twitter, and just generally encouraging me in my lows when I was on my low, and just generally being supportive and understanding and forgiving, because some of the things I've done have been crazy, but my fans always step up and always let me know that they have my back. So I'm grateful for my fans, and I can't wait to meet you and perform for you all over the country.